Welcome to the second video in the Mount Versus series. Please keep in mind these are my opinion. If you have another opinion on the matter, I would love to hear it in the comment section down below. The previous video we ended with World of Warcraft and Guild Wars 2 tied at 2 points each. If you didn't see the first video in the series, please click the card. As with the previous video, we are going to be breaking this up into several different points. This one has 4. And it is all over the design of the mounts. As with the last one, each MMO can earn 1 point if they win one of the 4 points of the design, or 1 point if they both tie for it. The first one is going to be over the personality of each mount, which ties into the mount idle animation and sometimes pressing the spacebar if you're in World of Warcraft. Also, the next point is going to be mount movement, meaning how they feel when running or while in use. The third point is going to be fit for the situation, and the final one is going to be fit to the character, which means basically how the mount will fit with your character. The personality of the mounts. This is actually one of my favorite things about mounts in any MMO, and I love seeing the differences between how World of Warcraft handles it and how Guild Wars 2 handles it. The personality is displayed very differently in both games, and there are certain attachments one can feel towards the mount because of that personality. In World of Warcraft, mounts display their personality in several different ways. The first is their idle animation. Each species does have an idle. For the cats, they are shown stretching, but my longtime favorite way is before you had the flying unlock or are in an area you can't fly, when you press space bar, while not moving, the mounts show their personality in the action they take here. There are different ones for the same animation. Some of the hooved mounts also share an animation. Griffins, hippogriffs, dragons, and all of the ones that have 4 legs and 2 wings all share the same animation as well. This is done to save time and money on not having to build different animations for every single mount in game, because let's face it, World of Warcraft has a huge variety of mounts. Though I was pleased to see when I finally got my fox mount, it has its own animation and I adore it. For Guild Wars 2, there are only 5 different mounts, and each of them display their personality within their idle animations, and sometimes even within their movement. The first idle animation I ever saw was the raptor during the beta weekends, and I leapt with joy when I first saw one of the idols and saw my character interacting with the mount. It was something very unique to Guild Wars 2, and each of the idols had something to offer. The bunny cleaning its face, the skimmer being playful as it tries to poke you with its tail, the raptor, of course, acting like a little puppy dog where it tries to shake you off and your character's like, what the heck? What was that for? And then the other one where you're scratching its neck and it starts to thump its foot. The griffins where you're basically sitting on its back and the griffin starts to stretch, and so you decide to stretch too. All of them display a personality that is shared with your character, and it is something so unique. Thus, Guild Wars 2 takes the point for the feeling each mount brings and how unique they are. Movement wasn't something I was really paying attention to when I first started playing World of Warcraft, but after playing Guild Wars 2 and going back to World of Warcraft, I really started to pay close attention to each individual mount's animations and the way that they move. It is most noticeable in Dragonhawks and the dragons that came out with Mists of Pandaria. They each have a different animation as they fly through the air. But swap to a griffin from a dragon and you have basically the same feeling between the 2 different mounts. Same with the cats. Any cat that you choose is going to have the same animation. Also, wolves have the same animation as one another, but they do feel more dog-like compared to the cats. Horses look like a horse and kind of feel like a horse as you're running on them. It's to be expected. But one of the things when I did notice this was each mount did have its own feeling of movement within its own species. And it was something very cool to finally notice and pay attention to in World of Warcraft. Guild Wars 2 did something very unique with the way that they handled movement. They chose to do something called weighted movement, which means that each mount has a weight behind the feeling of how it moves and moves more like the creature it was based off of in the real world. As an example, when you're flying on the Griffin, you can actually feel each wing beat as you try to control the Griffin's diving and soaring up into the air. You see the movement of it. It has the animation of how it's trying to get that wing stroke, how it's trying to dive, how it's trying to get way back into the air. And you also feel it as it's running, how it's lopping forward, kind of like a cat, and in the same moment, kind of like an owl. You feel the clunkiness of the owl, but you also feel the elegance of the cat, which was something really cool to see. And then with the Raptor, you feel the weight behind each of its steps. You feel the heaviness of such a big creature and the danger behind its movement. With the Jackal, well, does it feel like a dog? Oh yeah, it feels very much like you're riding a dog. You can feel the movement of its muscles as it's running forward like a dog. You see it and feel it. And with the Springer, of course, you feel the jumping of a kangaroo. And the Skimmer, you just feel the grace as it moves. No one is probably shocked to hear that Guild Wars 2 takes the point for movement. ArenaNet took a big chance with the weighted movement, which paid off in the end, making each mount feel unique and different as you sit astride it, whether you're flying, teleporting through the sand with your Sand Jackal, leaping through the air as your Raptor, jumping up high with the Springer, or skimming across the water with the Skimmer. Now, we enter the situation which requires a mount. World of Warcraft, you need to get into high spaces or to travel fast. Fear not, you have a flying mount unlocked, or your speeds your character as you run faster than ever before with a 100% speed buff. The way mounts are handled in World of Warcraft is a speed buff, basically. But that's the way that they were needed to be handled. World of Warcraft is a massive world, and even if you don't see it when you're running between each section of the maps, there's a slight loading screen, but you don't notice it, and it makes the world feel even more vast, and you really need that speed buff. Thus, no matter what you choose, if you have all the ground mounts that you need, and you don't have flying unlocked for the area, or you're not at a high enough level to fly, your ground mount is exactly what you need to get from point A to point B. And eventually, even if there's a cliff in your way, you will find your way around it, and it's a whole lot faster with that mount at your disposal. And once you have flying unlocked, can't find the way around, just soar up and over. It works perfect. Guild Wars 2 was designed to have every single mount have a unique ability that was required for a unique situation. You need to get into a high place. Jump on the Springer and feel the ground vanish beneath you as you leap into the air. Wait, now you need to run fast? Fear not, the Raptor is the mount for the job, or the Jackal if you so prefer him. Want to skip that mob? Well, find a high point and jump off with your Griffin. Just glide over their heads, or leap on through with your Jackal as he teleports and dodges every single attack thrown at him. Both take this one. While Guild Wars 2 tailored their mounts to be useful in different situations, it does take out the convenience of just being on a flying mount who can do it all. Run fast, fly over the water, leap into the air, fly, moreover, and so forth. However, Guild Wars 2 still ties for this one with how creative it is to have a different mount fit a different situation. Each of them are not only speed buffs, but the right tool to aid in a situation. The final section has to do more with cosmetics. Let's face it, all of us like to look at our mounts and ask which one fits my toon the best, or which one do I want to fit my toon the best, and we go from there. World of Warcraft offers a variety of mounts to choose from the mounts given within each of the faction to the mounts you have to grind in order to get, to even the mounts you have to purchase. There are many to choose from and many looks you can make work. You just spent time on your transmog, and now are scrolling through the list of mounts to find the mount which fits it the best, or you based your entire transmog on a mount you just got. The sheer variety leaves so much open, and you can pick the mount from ground or flying, which fits your character perfectly. Guild Wars 2 is a cosmetic-based game. Sure, there are stats in the grind to get ascended level gear, but after that, everything is based around how your character looks. Mounts are no different here. You want to be the one astride that griffin to show you made the huge journey to get the most expensive mount in the game. There are even reskins you can get for your mount. However, you can't remain on the mount forever. Mounts are built so they fit a situation in the game. They are not built to be a cosmetic item. There are times you need to get off of your mount you want to sit astride in order to get someplace in-game your mount can't do. You are able to dye the mounts, however, which helps with being able to customize them. It does aid in being able to make the mount fit with your character to a degree. World of Warcraft takes this one because of the sheer variety of mounts in-game. There are always places you can't use a flying mount, and thus your favorite ground mount comes into play there, or even your flying one, given they are useful on land as well. Guild Wars 2 lacks the variety in their mounts. Despite having reskins of the mounts available, there are still 5 base mounts, who are needed for certain situations. You can't take the raptor into a deep water and expect to stay on it, nor can it leap high into the air if you want to get over that cliff. As the Springer and Skimmer can't make large horizontal leaps, the raptor can. At the end of the second part, we see the tie is only just broken, with Guild Wars 2 coming out ahead by 1 point. But we still have one more part to go. Will Guild Wars 2 keep the lead, or will World of Warcraft make its comeback? You will have to wait and see. The final video will cover mount leveling and other in-game mechanics. Thank you so much for watching. I look forward to seeing you guys in the next video, as well as hearing your discussions over the second part of the Mount Versus.